I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite channel on the Citadel.
Number 40.
I'm gathering specialists for a mission. It's not going to be easy. The chances of surviving are slim.
Shepard, but you're dead.
Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 is one of those games that comes along once in a generation. The world that's been built borders on perfection. It is such a cinematic and powerful story. It crafts the story around the decisions and the actions that you make, and even builds on some of those that were made in the original game.
Picking up something on the long-range scanner. Unidentified vessel.
It's not the Geth. Brace for evasive maneuver!
It really makes you care about your companions, and from the series, honestly, some of my favorite characters have come from Mass Effect 2. I would highly encourage anyone who has yet to jump into the Mass Effect universe to give this game a try. And if you don't feel like playing the first game, there are ways to get around that and still enjoy some of the story decisions. All in all, Mass Effect 2 is one of my favorite games of all time.
Super Mario Galaxy. The idea supposedly came from Miyamoto saying to the director, "Hey, can you make something with spherical worlds?" Super Mario Galaxy is a brilliant game. It took the 3D Mario series in a direction that no one saw coming. The idea of the levels Mario would be traversing being on spheres of various size was something that sounds really weird on paper, but works very well. Superb gameplay, amazing level design, and stunning music. The music is of particular note, as it was created with a symphony orchestra, the first time in this series. It also introduced mainstay Rosalina, who would grow to be very popular and appear in a lot of Mario spin-offs since. To this point, it can be argued that no 3D Mario game, save Mario Galaxy 2, has really reached the same heights as this one.
Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid was probably the most cinematic console experience to ever come out at the time. It featured a quality and quantity of voice acting that set a new standard for other games to follow. And it was the first single-player game that I ever played for 12 straight hours because I just had to know what happened next. The game puts you in the sneaking suit of Solid Snake, a soldier brought out of retirement to infiltrate an Alaskan base that has been overtaken by members of Foxhound, a group you might remember as Snake's old squad for Metal Gear on the NES, or if you got to play it, Metal Gear 2 on the MSX. The group have a nuke and it's up to Snake and a variety of characters including a brilliant anime geek and a goddamn cyber ninja to put a stop to them. Metal Gear Solid promises stealth espionage action right on the box, and man, does it ever deliver. Stealth is a big part of Metal Gear Solid, as you're strongly encouraged to avoid enemy detection. Except for when it's time to shoot up a room full of soldiers. That all said, the game really did provide us with boss encounters that people still talk about to this day. The gun battle with Revolver Ocelot, or on the column of C4 with a hostage, the first time you meet the Cyber Ninja and Nauticon, everything about the Psycho Mantis fight. The game had too many memorable moments and encounters to count. Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1 gave us an engrossing story that will keep you hooked while never getting too convoluted. Well, at least not compared to its sequels. Throw in an incredibly easy-to-use weapon and inventory system and stealth mechanics that were groundbreaking for its time, and you've got a title that's a must-own if you have a PS1. Snake? Snake? Snake!
The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening is a masterpiece, and just another example of Nintendo showing what they can do with limited hardware. This feels like a full-fledged Zelda adventure, and you were able to take it on the go. It was mind-blowing. The story is also pretty unique and doesn't follow the typical Zelda tropes. Gone is Hyrule and the Triforce, but the magic remains. Link's Awakening. It's a full Zelda adventure in the palm of your hands.
Resident Evil 2. Boy, did this franchise get weird. Hey, remember when there was just one Resident Evil where it was about a bunch of people trapped in a mansion fighting zombies and it was awesome and easy to understand? Weren't those the good old days? Yeah, and then they came out with a sequel and you could still understand it. And they gave us all these new awesome characters like Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield and Ada Wong. And then the franchise just kept going and getting weirder and more convoluted. And then they changed up the play styles and now it's first person and I don't know what's going on. But back to 2. That was awesome. That was the pinnacle of the original Resident Evil franchise. I mean, the tank controls were just the way everybody liked them, and it was survival horror at its best. And sure, maybe this outing you didn't get a Jill sandwich, but I'll settle for a Leon hoagie and a Claire burger any day than all the crap they're giving us now.
Number 35.
Doom is arguably the most important shooter ever made. It may be simplistic by today's standards with simple labyrinths and keycard searching, and quite simple shooting mechanics, but thanks to fantastic feedback of demons dying, and a great metal soundtrack that really keeps the blood flowing and keeps the game exciting to play. But what really helps Doom make my CC100 list, the continued mod support the game has seen up until today. There's always new content to look forward to with Doom, whether it's playing the newest version of Brutal Doom or a new map pack. Doom always has something fresh and extremely fun to offer to any shooter fan, and is a must-play for anyone with a PC.
Minecraft. Minecraft is a unique retro-inspired sandbox game that has exploded into cult phenomenon status. Dig, build, and mine your way through the procedurally generated landscape, and let your imagination run wild. A large variety of resources, implements, and tools will keep your creative juices flowing as you give the world a makeover, and make it your own. But beware, there are plenty of mobs that will get in your way, such as zombies, creepers, and the terrifying Ender Dragon. Having 4 gameplay modes: survival, creative, adventure, and hardcore, Minecraft is sure to add something for everyone. A pop culture frenzy of this magnitude hasn't been around since the original Star Wars craze of the late 70s and doesn't seem to be ceasing anytime soon.
Welcome to City 17. You have chosen, or been chosen, to relocate to one of our finest remaining urban centers.
Half-Life 2. After preventing an alien invasion, which, yes, admittedly, you totally started, silent protagonist extraordinaire Gordon Freeman has been put into stasis by the enigmatic G-Man. You're suddenly woken up 20 years later in alien-occupied City 17 to discover that the aliens from the original game ended up taking over the world anyways. Shit. Half-Life 2 is basically a big dystopian sci-fi action film in video game form. The sequel starts you off by escaping the city and then takes you along the coastline through abandoned, headcrab-infested zombie towns and more. But of course, they still start you off with your trusty crowbar, because you just don't mess with the classic. In addition to all of the action, we also get a lot of small puzzles that revolve around showing off the game's physics engine. But nothing shows off the engine of Half-Life 2 more than the gravity gun. A weapon that can grab hold of just about anything that's not nailed to the floor and send it flying across the room. The way this one item opens up possibilities for combat and puzzle solving is staggering. But ultimately, it's just one of the many, many reasons to play Half-Life 2. The game even got 2 new installments with Half-Life 2 Episodes 1 and 2, which you can still find along with the main game in the Orange Box collection or on Steam. And if you ever get tired of all of that, the PC mod community has done a lot of work with this game over the years. So there's lots of reasons to keep coming back. No joke, Half-Life 2 is probably one of the greatest first-person shooters ever made.
My favorite cartoon as a kid was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I never miss an episode of that show. That show was my life. You can probably imagine how I felt the first day I saw and got to play the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. What was a bonus is that I got to play as my favorite turtle, Raphael. Everyone wanted to play as Donatello or Leonardo, because they had the longer weapon. Not me. Give me the turtle with the shortest weapon and the baddest attitude. Anytime I see this game at a Chuck E. Cheese or an arcade, I had to play this game, and only as Raph. This is one of the few arcade cabinets I'd love to own. Until that day comes, I'll continue to play the NES port or on emulation, but only as Raphael.
Number 31. Goldeneye was released by Rare in 1997 for the Nintendo 64 and forever changed the way we play multiplayer first-person shooters. This game was groundbreaking in both its control scheme and varied multiplayer options, and has been a large influence on almost every FPS since. The game featured characters, music, and locations from the film, and presented multiple difficulty levels to play through, allowing you to unlock new characters, locations, and cheat codes. My friends and I spent hours upon hours hunting each other down with everything from grenade launchers to golden guns. It's amazing to think about the impact this game has had on so many gamers, considering the multiplayer was a last-minute addition thrown together before its release. P.S. Clobs suck, and using Oddjob is still cheating.